If you've ever started working with Microsoft Word, you might be confused about its interface because, well, it changes a lot on us. So let's take a look at how the Microsoft interface works and how it's designed to actually make it easier for you to use. So Microsoft has broken up their interface into a couple of different areas. Let's take a look at them. First is the document area. This is where we see the document that we're working with. Now I've got some sample text and sample information here that you can see, as well as an image and a table. I'm going to be talking to you about what each of these are and why they're important and how they can change the interface for you. But before we do that, let's talk about the ribbon. The ribbon is a section across the top of our screen. You'll notice it has a series of tabs. We have Home, which is your default, Insert, Design, etc. Now, these tabs will change. They are what's known as being context sensitive. That means that it depends upon what you have selected as to what tabs you will or will not see. As well, depending upon what types of plugins you do or do not have. So for example, you may not have Acrobat, but because I've installed Adobe Acrobat Professional, I have that tab. Let's come back here to Home real quick. Now, if I select this header up here, you're noticing that my tabs have not changed. Same thing for my regular text. However, when I select my image, you may notice I now have a Pictures tool with a picture format over it. Likewise, if I select inside my table, you'll notice I have two new tabs, a Table Design and a Table Layout. And as with any of those, if I click on the tabs, you will see different options that are available to you to use. Microsoft hides these when you don't need to see them and only shows them to you when it's relevant. The same thing is going to happen when you select some text. Now you might say, well, wait a second. We selected text and nothing happened. But I want you to right-click on it. When I right-click, you notice I get something called a context menu. This context menu is something that I can see based on the context of what I have. Once again, it's going to be context sensitive. That means it's going to change from when I have some text selected to if I right-click on my image. Notice it's completely different. Sometimes those menus are completely different, like with that image compared to my text, where if I come over here to my table, it's only a little bit different. So this is the whole idea of context sensitive, is we don't want to show you things that aren't relevant. We only want to show you things that really matter to what you're going to be using right now. Now, if I'm working on a large file, I may need to zoom in, scroll, or even change pages. The way I'm going to do that is through a couple different manners. I have here a scroll bar off to my far right-hand side. Now, right now, I only have one page, so it's not showing. Once again, context sensitive. But if I have a document that has 2, 3, 200 pages, that scroll bar is going to be very helpful to me. At the bottom of my screen, I have a couple of buttons and I have a zoom. My zoom allows me to zoom in and see up close. Notice that now I have my scroll bar because it's more than what can fit on the screen. I also have different types of modes, like a reading mode. This allows you to see 2 pages side by side. The default and my preferred mode, which is print layout. And I also have a web layout. And the web layout basically just takes it as one big long scrolling text like you're looking at a web page. This I find a little bit harder to use because it's harder to see. Now, Microsoft will tell you that you can do web design inside of Microsoft Word. And technically, it's not wrong, but it's not right to do either. We never want to use Microsoft Word for a web page. So I typically recommend either sticking with the reading mode or the print mode. I find these the easiest to use. If we have a large document, we set up headers, which we'll show you about in a future video. We're going to show you how you can have a navigation bar over here that's going to allow you to quickly jump from one section to the next. So you're going to want to be looking out for that video in the near future. The last thing I want to show you is what's known as the quick access bar. The quick access bar is just a way that we can quickly jump to the things that we use most commonly. It's found up at the very top when you see this save and this undo type button. There's also a little drop down. This is our quick access bar, and we can customize it. So you notice I have a couple of options here that are selected, like save. Well, let's say I use a lot of emailing this document. I can add that feature. Or if I need to create a lot of new documents, I can add that feature. So this allows me to optimize my workflow based upon the things that I most commonly use. You can optimize it for things that you most commonly use. And that's one of the nice things about Microsoft Word. This is very customizable and will fit your workflow. Now, coming up next, we're going to look at how to do some basic file things, like creating new files, saving files, opening files, etc. So stay tuned for that.